bystander effect, vaccination injuries, autism. Amazing conversation with Nurse Nicole. Nurse Nicole, please let them know where they can find you.
Yes, absolutely. So on Instagram, it's hold underscore the line CLNC. And on Twitter, it is Hennessy03, HENNAC03.
And today's listener of the week is Lynx underscore 669. This episode goes out to you. Thank you so much for engaging, liking, commenting, leaving stuff in the DM, and listening to the show. If you haven't already done so, share it with a friend and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Stay tuned, guys.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump, from the deep below the pool, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
I'm about to make deposit into the bank of knowledge. Welcome back to Paranoi Radio podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Trebles Garcia. Man, it feels good to be behind the mic. I have been recording relentlessly on other people's shows, but I haven't recorded for my show. I have a freaking backlog, I know, and I apologize, guys. The last few episodes you've been listening were recorded back in late June, early July, and you can find those episodes now in YouTube. Before anything, I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Guys, check us out at ParanoidRadio.com. That is the most important thing that you could do today, word of mouth. Check us out at ParanoidRadio.com, and if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, and engage. Today, we have an amazing episode lined up with an amazing human being. She's never been here before. She's here to take over, dismantle it, and then build it back up. Let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. Please give a warm welcome to Nurse Nicole on Instagram. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am doing great. I'm very happy. Like I was telling you in the beginning of the show means the freaking world to me. My listeners mean the freaking world to me. But what's really making my gears go and really got me amped up today is that I'm spending time with somebody that's in the front line, having deep conversations, putting out amazing content, and actually has more courage than most men out there. I want to thank you for what you do, and please let them know where they can find you.
Yes. So currently I am on Instagram at hold underscore the line CLNC, which is, one word with the underscore, and Twitter, which is Hennessy03, HENNAC03.
Make sure you check her out, ladies and gentlemen. Please take the time of day. Stop doom scrolling. I like to say death scrolling on TikTok, watching ass, and take 5 seconds of your day. Hashtag look it up and search up her content. Share, like, and subscribe. You are a dangerous human being for the elites, I want to say. And we were just telling me that you survived the last 5 years off the thing that they ran all over and destroyed most of our identities, families, kids, children's identities, and most importantly, and didn't even get us. They didn't allow us to spend some time with the people that we lost, our elders. I'm going to be honest with you. It's almost 9/11, guys. I think today's the 9th of September, and we're recording an episode almost 5 years after the jibby jabby and after the situation that happened in 2020. And it doesn't get any lighter for me to speak about this. My wife has lupus. She was pregnant. And we almost broke up, not only because of her family, but we were losing people left and right. Our neighbors were sick. The neighbors to the right was sick. The neighbors to the front were sick, except for my freaking house. My house was healthy for the first run. For 6 months, we saw people die, fall, and then Jack. The only reason why my wife decided to buy a gun for herself was because she herself experienced people stealing not only toilet paper, but also food at a grocery store. It was crazy. People were acting retarded. But you have a testimony and you have some information that you want to drop in today. I saw one of your posts that really got my attention. You're talking about how Tylenol causes issues on our kids to make it basic and dumb it down for most people like myself with a very poor vocabulary. After they get a vaccination, they give you a list of things a list of symptoms, like B symptoms that they're going to get. And they treat it with Tylenol.
Mhm.
How does this cause any issues in our bodies or our babies' bodies?
So that's a really great question. When children are given vaccines, the number one thing that the pediatrician and or their healthcare staff will tell you is that, the only side effect that you could potentially see is a little bit of fussiness, maybe a low-grade fever, but essentially that the vaccines are what we call safe and effective. And
Mm.
they offer to have Tylenol given to help with those adverse outcomes. And what they found back in 2008, it actually wasn't a recent study just yet that we have seen that out of, I think it was like 83 children after receiving a certain MMR jab, that there was a 20% higher chance of developing potentially autism. And how this has been discussed in the past and completely seen as a conspiracy theory, in addition to what's in the jabs and how that looks, and all the ingredients in there that are also going to be looked at and scrutinized further to have different data and studies to see if this is in fact showing why these children have an increase in these autistic tendencies, since it used to be one in 1,000 plus. Now it's one in
Mm.
31 children in the United States are being diagnosed as autistic. And one of the direct correlations that most are putting this towards is the jabs, the amount that they're receiving, the frequency, and then, of course, also the link to Tylenol, because it is being pushed to be given after these jabs are being given.
If you don't mind me asking, the reason I'm asking is this: that there's always something that I try to tie on a personal level because I am just like the average Joe. Guys, I'm a father. I work for a living. This is my side hustle and my hobby. I have kids, and I want you guys to know that I live most of the struggles that you guys are living through today. And some of these questions, some of these things are not told by our primary physicians or our primary doctors or even the family doctors. They don't tell us these things, and they don't ask us these questions, and we are too afraid to even challenge their narrative, or because they have a freaking degree, a plaque on the wall, we say, oh, they know best. And we try to just, whatever about it, right? So are they also dropping the levels of the way, I don't know how they measure any person in the spectrum of autism.
Right.
I do know that in order to become diabetic, when I was growing up, either you were diabetic and you were not. Now you have pre-diabetic, now you have pre-diabetic, and now they lower the standards so that they could say that you're diabetic,
Right.
so you could get prescription on drugs and Ozempic and etc. Are they doing the same thing for people that are on the spectrum?
Absolutely. I do believe, again, as my personal opinion, that there are such varying degrees of autism that it can be extremely mild to extremely severe. And there are different variations based on the symptoms that your child may or may not have, the milestones that they're able to hit or not. And that, of course, can directly correlate to kind of the outcomes that you're looking for to try to regain in these children based on what they may not have, which could be from speech to neurological deficits, taking care of themselves, feeding, recognizing patterns, recognizing individuals. It really is a very wide range. And that's what makes it a little difficult, but also why I think we're down to the 1 in 31 children are being diagnosed, because there is such a wide range that could be encompassed.
1 in 31 children is very freaking common, guys. Think
Too
about every
common.
single person that you interact with on a daily basis. Think about your job. If you work at a warehouse, if you work at a T-Mobile, if you work wherever the hell it is that you work, think about how many faces you interact with, how many people you have eye contact with, how many verbs you hear and interact with other people, how many times you exchange any type of communication with people. Count their heads. Most of those people have children at home. 31 kids, bro. It's a very, very common number. My question then would be, who's behind it? Pharmaceutical companies, doctors get kicked down for prescribing all of these drugs on an early age. I get it. Okay, money, right? The bottom line would be money. But what other motive? What are the lobbyists? Has there been any studies that pharmaceutical jibby jabbies are a cause? Are these vaccination damages? Are these people victims?
Well, today, Aaron Siri, who is a very well-known lawyer, went and testified today to basically bring forward a study that had been done a while ago and was purposely hidden and not brought forward. And I was not able to watch all of that, so I can't speak to that, entirely. But essentially, there was a unjabbed versus jabbed study, which we have been told numerous times has never happened.
Mm,
And it's there, it was hidden, and he was testifying to show the significant differences that were found because we hear about it, people speculate, they always say, oh, if you have children that haven't had any, a lot of groups like the Amish or certain families that are more holistic, chiropractor families, you notice that these children that don't have any of these jabs have a lesser time being sick, if sick at all, versus children that have received it who are more prone to health issues like asthma, GI issues, skin issues, and
mm.
also the autism spectrum. So there are noticeable differences in a lot of children that have it versus don't. Not to say that it's completely off the table that you can't have autism if you're not jabbed, because other factors may play a role. But the elephant in the room, so to speak, is you went from 6, 7 jabs back in the 1980s to now a child from birth to the age of 18 will have 72 in their lifespan of that time frame, more through adulthood if you follow what the CDC exactly tells you.
I think it's 82 in California. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag look that up. Take the time of your day to stop watching ads on TikTok and look that up. That is insane. Autism. What about dyslexia, color blindness, other issues? Can that be also part of the side damages
So
from vaccines?
So typically, there are a wide range of things that can happen. To say specifically if you could directly link those, I would not be able to answer that. But I do know that we're not just speaking to your common everyday ticks and certain things like that. And why this is commonly missed, because a lot of people that have had the jabs, they don't think or know that they are jab injured. And so a lot of times they think it's going to be this overwhelming response of,
Mm.
impairment. And a lot of times it can be as simple as skin conditions, asthma, ear infections, reoccurrent ear infections, always sick, not able to fight infections well, because you're putting all these toxins and all these other ingredients and you're overwhelming these tiny, perfect little bodies. And they are overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that's being introduced to them. And we have heard time after time after time, parents come forward and say that my child was healthy and met all their milestones until they received their 4 month, 6 month, a year, whatever jabs. And then they started regressing. They weren't talking, they weren't tracking, they weren't following me, they couldn't really identify, they stayed to themselves. And when you
Hmm.
have this reoccurring over and over again, it's just really unfortunate that the other side, if you will, gaslights and tells these parents that they're wrong and that this is
Yeah.
not happening and this is not from that. To tell a parent they don't know their own child and not
Oh
listen
yeah.
to them, it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. For somebody to come and tell me, a doctor, I understand people go to school for these roles. I understand everybody has a role in society and that's theirs. Okay, I understand. And some of these people are just a victim of the wheel as well. Some of these people go to freaking school for 8, 10 years. They come, become a doctor, and then they get stuck in a hamster wheel trying to pay all these debts off, and they have to play with ball. I get it. I get it, bro. I get it.
Right.
We're all humans, right? We're all humans. I can't stand here and say that I'm freaking perfect. But for somebody to come and tell me here that they know my little ones better than I do, no, bro.
Wild.
I
It's
know their
wild.
habits. I know the way their jawline moves when they're eating. I know specific tics that they have, and they know mine. You cannot tell me when my kid's sick and when my kid is not sick. You cannot do that, bro. I don't care what these test tubes say. I don't care. I know my child. I feel my child. I am my child. You cannot do that. Highly disrespectful if you ask me. But things are happening around the world. Jabs are introduced to our kids. Jabs were introduced to mothers while being pregnant. Is that something also that can cause a higher level of autism spikes in society?
So they definitely are also wanting to look into further studies. See, the problem is we have a lot of skewed data, a lot of what we call magic math. A lot of these studies are being run and funded by the very groups that are big pharma and have a conflict of interest. And so, once upon a time, we never said that you should inject pregnant women. There should be things that you don't do because you don't know what harm could cause to the fetus and to the mother. And now it's like we've seen over the so many years that like that has completely lifted, and they're actually telling pregnant women to get the flu jab, to get RSV jab, to get the COVID jab, all of these things that you look at and go, and they say, well, this is the best to help protect her and the baby. But a lot of these outcomes and things over the past few years that we've heard is that there's a higher rate of miscarriage, of stillbirths, babies having issues with health issues when they're born, whether it be clotting issues or neurological issues, and infertility. So there's a lot of things that we're seeing. And then of course with the autism, I don't think that it helps, because then once you are birthing the baby, the first thing they do is inject them with the hepatitis B jab, and they're not
Absolutely.
even a few hours old. And it's just wild. So it's hard to say, but you can't rule it out. And the thing is, you can go and talk to a medical professional and they will give you every single potential outcome. But the second you say a jab, completely off the table. And that's how you
That's
know.
called that's called magic math. That's the
Yeah,
name of the episode I think that was creatively given. I freaking love it. It
it's
happens. It always
crazy.
happens. It's within it. I have to ask you a question. I have a good friend of mine. She's my pod mom. She's my real mom, if anything now. Diploma Janet from the Probo Nation podcast. She was also a career nurse all her life, all of her life, and she gave me a beautiful series of health episodes and pharmaceutical episodes. And one of them we spoke about chickenpox, and she said after the shot, people get after not the COVID stuff, but the chickenpox vaccine, people can get chickenpox again. And I was like, wait, shut the front door, bro. Wait, now I'm gonna give you some background why it was such a surprise for me. I'm freaking Latino, bro. When there was a kid with chickenpox in my block, my mom would tell me, go rub elbows now. Go
Hmm.
get it while you're young.
Yep.
Because you're gonna get it once in your life, and when you're young, it's easier to treat.
Hmm.
And it was a thing that you would get once in a lifetime, and it was even fun. I remember freaking connecting the dots when I had chickenpox with the fever. I was playing with my own dots. So I'm like, okay, wait, like, you call it ghetto, call it whatever the hell you want. But what I do know is you were supposed to only get it one time in your life. Has there
Right.
been reports, in your opinion and research and line of duty, has there been reports where other illnesses of that kind that happen once in your lifetime reoccur after getting specific shots?
Absolutely. If you read the inserts,
Mm,
everything that we're saying, they're not hiding from you. They just don't think you're going to be smart enough to look for it. All of these things that are attached to the jabs have inserts that you can read online, and it will tell you that a handful of these jabs have periods where they could shed, and the individual can shed the virus. And chickenpox is one, or varicella. Shingles is another. RSV, there's certain ones that if you have a live jab, but in the intranasal, that is a live, attenuated, weakened virus, those can shed. So a lot of times when these outbreaks happen, they don't want to tell everyone that 9 times out of 10, those outbreaks are caused because the vaccinated had a
mm.
period of shedding, and it basically got onto everyone who wasn't, and or
Oh,
people that have
snap.
already had it. And this is what likely happens. And so when people start school, let's think about it. When people go to
Mm,
school, they tell
hmm.
you got to get your physical, got to go see your pediatrician. Pediatrician goes, "Oh, you're up for your jabs. This is what's going on. Let's go ahead and get you taken care of before you start school, so you're covered for flu and cold season." And then what happens? The kids start school, and then what happens to everyone? They're dropping like flies. Everyone's sick. All the germs, everyone's getting, it's because they're shedding. They're viral shedding all over the place, and kids have a
Shut the front door, bro.
kids have a tendency to not always wash their hands. They touch their eyes, they touch their nose and everything else. So we can't say probably on the YouTube, but they're not very cleanly. And so then all these viruses spread and then you build your immunity. Okay. So this is what happens. They say the jab is the only way to do this and the herd immunity and everything else. It's literally your immune system was built. It was designed to heal itself. This is just they always teach us in medicine, your best tool is your own immune system working with the antibodies, not getting an artificial injection. That is not best practice. But they tell you that because one, it's money, and two, they make you believe that it will stop transmission. But most of these jabs, it will tell you a true jab does not have it spread. It stops transmission. So let's talk about how many of those actually do that. You would be quite surprised how many don't.
Hit me. Give me a few.
Well, we've got the MMR, we have some things with that. We have the influenza. We definitely have C19 COVID. Okay, that one did not stop transmission. We have RSV. That's another one that's new that everybody says is fine. The study prior to that running and being put out into the open had a handful of infants that passed from it. And so again, if we look at these and we look at the time frame that these are studied, people will be blown away. They think these jabs have been, tested for years and years. That we have some that were tested 5 days on 150 people. And those decisions are being made for all these people. And it's like that the math ain't mathin'. That's the magic math.
The math ain't mathin'. That's magic math. I'm telling you, bro, because you tested it on 150 people, but one out of 31 of each 150 people came back autistic. Shut the front door, bro. Shut the door, man.
It's risk versus
benefit.
Nuts. It's risk
nuts.
Versus benefit. And for the listeners, please note, I'm a registered nurse of 20 years. I've worked in the cardiac field. I'm ride or die for my patients. What matters is what you want as a patient. Informed consent. If anyone wants to talk about informed consent, it's essentially what we are obligated to do for our patients. Provide informed consent, which tells you the good, the bad. If you decide to go one way, what may happen, or the other way, and alternatives. If you aren't being given that, then you have not received true informed consent. And what I'm getting at is if you receive that, if you know that the C19V does not stop transmission, that you could get C19 again, that you could pass it on to someone else, and that it could increase your risk for blood clots, myocarditis, all the things, and you still look at me and tell me you want it, my job is to make sure that that's what you get. If that's what you want, informed consent was given, we all have an understanding. So we're not here to take away the right. The State Surgeon General of Florida, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, just put out to end the mandates across the state. We've received an overwhelming response of great news, and then the other side that's ready to take us out. So
congratulations on that.
Well, it's good. We're being fought tooth and nail. We are being fought tooth and nail. The other side is going to make sure this does not happen easy. So kudos to taking the initiative, but knowing the price that it costs to start this process. But we're moving forward. It will go out in stages. But the right to choose what you do to your body is bodily autonomy. You have to have the right to bodily sovereignty and informed consent. The government cannot tell you what to do with your body and what to put in it. And that's where we stand as a state, not taking away your right. It's making sure that everyone has equal rights to say yes or no.
Nurse Nicole, thank you.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for what you do. I got started and when we started the conversation, I had too much Red Bull today and I'm running on fumes. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you something. I wasn't really comfortable when I really started the show, but I'm gonna say something right now. There's a lot of us out here that try to do the damn thing. And one of them, there's one thing. One thing is to be a podcaster and to have a platform and have people come on. And another one's to be in the front lines, being an active nurse. Okay. Having to be on the field, under fire, watching these people suffer every single day, every single night, being part of the freaking system and then trying to break the system from the inside out. That's a whole different ballgame. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service from the bottom of my heart because I have two freaking kids and I have a sick wife also. And I can tell you this right now, it is not easy.
No.
That's just me as a father, bro, as a provider. I can't even imagine what you have to go through as a woman, as a provider also for your household, I suppose. And then having to see this 12, 16-hour days, day in, day out. It's insane.
Well, I really appreciate that. I think sometimes there's a really big disconnect in what we do because some of us that are still in the system get lumped in with all the ones that weren't really fighting or kind of didn't do the right thing. I will tell you, it is one of the most humbling experiences. At the time, I was a nurse for 17 years. I worked as a heart transplant nurse. I absolutely love my patients, but those patients were the first ones to get the jab because they were immunocompromised. And the deal was, in order to get a transplant, you had to have it or you had to come off the list. And seeing what happened to those patients, seeing how they got affected by the jab, and then when I came forward, what it looked like, I can only tell you that it was literally a calling from God because there were days I was begging him, like, I don't understand why I'm doing this. This is too much. The pressure is too great because we received death threats. We were segregated. We were being coerced. We were told that we were the cause of, people not staying alive. Like, it was insane. Like, I have never experienced anything like this in my life. And knowing at the time, all I wanted to do was protect my patients and give them the right to choose. So I appreciate that because it is very traumatic. I will always carry the trauma of what I saw during that time. And now I deal with the aftermath of the jab injured, and I speak for them on a local and state level to try to enact change to get them help because nobody is addressing the elephant in the room, so to speak, that we have all these injured. And that is a very lonely road because more people than not don't believe this is a thing. And they don't want you to talk. They don't want you to show up. They want to silence you. And however that may go, it can be extremely deterring and it can be very isolating. So I think the other message that is always misconstrued by the other side, because we get a lot of hate, there's a lot of threats, there's a lot of we can't wait for your child to get this, and we hope that because you don't give them the jab, they get that, and that you don't deserve to live and all this other stuff. And they tend to forget that when I show up and I use my voice, that I'm also doing it for them so that they don't lose that right to say that they want something. It's an all-party system. Like, we're here to help give everyone those equal rights. They don't see it like that, but it's truthfully where we're at. And it can be really disappointing because there's just so much hate. There's so much hate that they can't lift that veil. And some of them are too far gone to see it. But we still fight. We still show up. We still make sure that they know that we're there for them too.
The idea of sharing the space, not only with sick people and survivors, victims, but with other people that they are in your field, coworkers, colleagues, people that know the truth and try to be like, I didn't see that. Oh, I don't know that. Oh, wait, I have to support it. And one thing, like, for example, like you, I get it. You have to work. You have to feed your family and all this stuff. And like I told you in the beginning, like towards the beginning of the show, so I understand why people have to go to school and they get stuck in that same hamster wheel. They're also part of the, they're also victims. They fall into that also. But however, for somebody, what makes somebody turn blind? What makes somebody just turn away from the truth and not say anything?
I really think at one point it was just, they just didn't know. I have to admit, I wasn't like this before the pandemic. I wasn't as awake. I did have an idea of what was going on with jabs in general. I have a jab injured brother from the MMR, and I knew that it was possible. But what really set things in motion is when we showed up to the state capitol to try to set some laws in place to discuss medical freedoms and to give people the right to choose and not having the C-19 jab. And when we showed up to the Capitol, I was expecting to be met with a lot of individuals that were fighting against the C-19 mandates. And what I found is that there were parents. There were so many parents from injured children, from childhood jabs, that it was just the most, like, you talk about like gut punch. I just sat there and I was like, and then it was like an epiphany. Like I woke up even more because I'm like, this is not just the C19. But when you don't get taught these things, when you're not in that world, because I had never seen it, it never directly affected me per se. But when I started taking care of the cardiac transplant patients and I saw what that jab was doing to them, I was like, wait a minute, something's wrong. And we would bring it up to the doctors and they'd be like, no, that's not happening. They'd gaslight me. They'd tell me I was crazy. Like, you're not making any sense. And I'm like, no, you see what I'm seeing. Like, this is not right. They're declining. And then to see these parents, they're like, we have been screaming from the rooftops for decades. And I'm like, it was just humbling. So I truly feel like we just don't know unless you're in that world or you've been exposed to it. And now going back to the autism, if you don't have a child that's autistic, you know someone who does. Same thing with the C19 jab. If you have not been affected, you surely know someone who has. You always will run into somebody. And I think once we keep having those conversations, people become more exposed to it. And then the other side, I just think, was just in it for the money, kept their head down. We're not going to say anything. There's no data to prove it. My data is experience. I saw it with my own eyes. Like I saw what was happening. And that's how they try to debunk us. Well, you don't have anything to prove it. I literally saw it day after day after day after day. And now I see what happens to these perfectly healthy people who decided to roll up their sleeves, take one for the team, because that's what they were told to do. And then they are injured. And then the other side says, you're anti-V. How can they be? They're the ones that took it and they were harmed. Now they're trying to tell you something is wrong. And you're like, no. It's not from that. It's not from that. So then what is it?
Yeah. It's sad that people have to get exposed by listening and having these conversations, but also have to be exposed to getting it so that they could live through it and then share the message.
1000%.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to admit that. And I think that's the other part too, right? There are some people that were just hell-bent. This is not what it's from. I kept talking about it. I kept posting about it. We kept being very consistent. People are like, that's insane. You look insane. Nothing's going to change. You don't make any sense. No one's going to believe you. And I can tell you that we persevered. We now have an end the mandate in the state of Florida. We have a law in place that you can't be forced to take the C19 jab. I'm telling you, it doesn't take an act of Congress per se. It's grassroots initiatives. It's people that show up. It's moms that are ready to fight like hell to protect their children. It's husbands like you that want to protect their spouses that are sick. I mean, this is a grassroots effort. It's people coming together going, we're not going to let you take our rights away. And you're going to know what you did harmed people. And someone has to pay for that. And some of these people are no longer with us. So I'm speaking on behalf of people that are now with the Lord. Yeah. It's just like, it really has to be put into perspective that people can say whatever they want. These people are never coming back. And there's published studies on these people that they were harmed from these vaccines. It needs to be talked about. They need to know it exists.
The same amount of people. I just posted something today on Instagram. It broke my heart, bro. It broke my heart. You know, I'm gonna put all things aside. I'm gonna put immigration aside. I'm gonna put Donald Trump aside. I'm gonna put everything that I believe on a federal level aside. And I'm gonna bring it down because you said this. It becomes a real fight in the local level. You want to change everything. You're not going to be able to change crap through the federal government. You're going to change it at a local level. And it has to come down to this. I posted up something today on Instagram that broke my heart. And it was the stabbing of this young Ukrainian girl. I don't give a crap if she was a Democrat. I don't care. I don't care where she came from. I don't give a crap about her color even. The bystanders in that freaking train, bro. The dude stabbed her 3 times. The fear in her eyes. The blood off his freaking knife. The people ran. One of them freaking, a whole grown man with hairy balls walked side. And he just walked past him. He looked at him and passed him like a fucking coward. Do you understand what you have to see, what you have to be desensitized to see a girl get stabbed and walk past him? Do you understand the level of cowardness you went through, bro? Like, dude, are you freaking serious, man? We have been this is where we get paranoid. This is where we get conspiratorial. It doesn't, bro. I'm a protector. I don't care if the person hit me, If the person damaged my car, even family members, broke my heart, it doesn't matter. You don't allow anybody to get stabbed out of nowhere like that and walk past them and not do anything. And the other one freaking hides, just pretending like she didn't see. What, bro? You didn't see the girl get stabbed?
We call it
This
the
happens
bystander
daily.
effect.
This
Called the
happens daily,
bystander.
bro.
It's called the bystander effect. We saw
This
it
happens when
during
you walk down
COVID.
the streets and there's freaking
I know.
homelessness, and
I
you
know.
don't do anything for these veterans that are there. You're too fucking worried about how you gonna get the next fucking dollar, how you gonna get the next fucking iPhone, talking about the next trend or the next series on the fucking Netflix or the next fucking person you want to fuck or the next club you want to fucking hit or the next fucking liquor store you want to fucking drink out of. You're too busy entertained about all the fucking bullshit out there, bro. Sorry for because I'm cursing.
No,
But
you're fine.
how else do you want me to put this message out? You need to stop being a freaking bystander. Stop watching ads on TikTok. Take 5 seconds of your day to go to the search bar. Stop death scrolling on social media. Stop being influenced by influencers. Stop listening to music that doesn't bring anything good to your family. Stop feeding your kids shit. Stop going to McDonald's and stop thinking about efficiency. Think about quality and the longevity of your freaking life. Change what you can within your freaking household, the way you eat, the way you think, your habits, your thought patterns, everything. Start right there. It is insanely annoying and emotional wrecking to see not just that lady get stabbed, bro. The people that let him out, the people that are fighting for him to stay out, and start up a GoFundMe page, bro, so that he has legality, a legal team. Shut the fuck up. Game over.
So what I hear you saying is, because you literally hit every point and then some, you want people to be held accountable for their actions. And we don't do that. We don't hold people accountable. We don't make parents hold themselves or their children accountable. That young lady sat down, minding her business, had her back turned to that animal. He whipped out the knife behind her, took a second, and then leaned over, lunged in the most violent manner, and stabbed her 3 to 4 times. You watch her go into shock. Everyone, like you said, moving, not doing it. The bystander effect, because they don't want to get hurt. They don't want to get involved. It's not our business, whatever. We see it happen every day. And she bled out and she died. And they let her. And they didn't do anything about it. This is where we are in society. We need Jesus. Whatever anybody wants to believe. I'm sorry. Whatever you believe, we need it. Okay. This is not normal. And like you said, we have been so desensitized that it made sense to lock healthy people down in 2020, make them put masks on, tell them they can't go to school, put your children at risk, have all these people profit off literally killing your loved ones, okay? And then turn around and doubling down and saying, let's put a fucking jab in your arm, and then saying, oh, you know what?
Oh, for the cheeseburgers.
You had a choice. You had a choice. No one held you down. Do you know how many people died? They had ivermectin, they had hydroxychloroquine, they had freaking medicine. They demonized it. They literally had doctors lose their licenses. Anybody that spoke up lost everything. We were threatened. This is the same shit, man. And people want to look back and go, well, so we didn't know any better. Are you kidding me? These people are gone.
Bystanders.
They're gone. The bystander effect. People were watching their loved ones on FaceTime die, take their last breath. How in any society is that normal? And then go, well, we just didn't know, or, we didn't have the data. Bullshit. That's not true. And so
there's
like
common
you said,
sense. Yeah.
But there was none. It was fear. Everyone, what happened on that train was fear. No one stood up. I'm telling you right now, at the end of the day, you're going to have to pry my 2A rights from my hand. It will not. We will go to war. Okay. At this point, this is what we do. We protect our own, and you have people that have enough sense about them, the masculinity that everybody wants to tear down and say is not right and toxic and all this other BS. No, we need that. We need our men, and they're demasculating. They're doing all of these things to make you look like you're not part of society, that you're not needed, that nobody wants you. Yes, we do. This is what we need, people to rise up. Someone on that train could have helped her. Someone could have stopped what happened during the pandemic. It's because so many just look on. We have come to
that happened.
It's
That
awful.
happened. It
It's
happened
awful.
almost 3 weeks ago, and barely now we're making noise about it. Do you see what happened? But if it would have been somebody with the gun in an M16 shooting kids, I'm not even going to go with the freaking letter community.
Mm-hmm.
It's from the news to the authority to the people in that train to the other nurses that don't know, and I'm using high air quotations here,
for real.
to the freaking people that take their kids to go get jabbed is as equally as harming as that lady getting stabbed in a fucking train. Why? Because these are innocent fucking children.
Amen.
Same fucking thing. You're being a bystander. If you want to take your kids to get shot, you do whatever the hell you want with your children. Do whatever you want with your freaking kids, but get informed.
Exactly.
Don't be a lazy excuse of a fucking meatbag parent. Learn something. Take some time off your day to read. Nicole, nurse Nicole, you came. We spit some freaking fire. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah. So again, we can go on Instagram at hold_the_line CLNC or on Twitter at Hennessy03, HENNAC03.
Power bomb of an episode. We demolished it. She built it back up. The emotional, the banter, the candor, everything was in it. There was some wise words said. There was a lot of information that she put out. Basic information for you guys. This is not next level conversations. You guys keep telling me, Angel, you need to bring new guests with next level conversation. You know what? Why am I going to take it to a next level conversation if you're fucking too lazy to even search up the basic shit that I bring you on a daily basis? You guys want to get entertained. You guys don't want to learn. You want entertainment. Are you entertained? Hashtag look it up. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace.
Paranoi Radio.